Hey, what's happening? Jason Woodland here with Always the Journey TV. Thank you very much for joining us today. I am obviously your host today. What is Always the Journey TV? So I have decided to spend a little bit more time on YouTube, making videos just a little bit about what's going on in the marketplace, insurance, business ideas, and just random things in general. The other thing I'm going to be doing is interviewing some really cool people from around the community, both inside of the state of Utah as well as outside of the state of Utah. And the main objective here is more or less to be a little bit of a community service. I want to learn about business owners, employees, side hustles. I want to learn about people who are artists. I want to learn about people who are really doing things within the community. And I want to know about what their passion is. The difference between Always the Journey TV and Always the Journey podcast is the podcast goes a lot more in depth on that personality type, whereas Always the Journey TV is going to be a lot more specific to do with the person and what they do for a living. And so I'm really excited about the deep dive. Each of these episodes, I'm looking to be around 10 to 15 minutes or so. And like I said, hopefully someone in the community is able to find someone that is being interviewed here to learn a little bit more specifically about someone's business so they could possibly utilize their product or service. Today is actually the number one interview that I've done so far on Always the Journey TV, and I'm extremely excited about that. It's actually a dear friend of mine who I've known now for about a year, maybe a year and a half. Anyway, his name is Trent Bray. Trent has been married for almost 13 years. 13 is my lucky number. I was married on October 13th, 2013. If I could have chosen a 13th month, we would have chosen that. But that's obviously impossible. Anyway, he's got 3 kids. He started his first business when he was 14 years old. He was reverse engineering websites, and he shared a story with me when he was back in high school. He was actually known to have the coolest car in high school because he was always on the hustle and making things happen. And so he was making money all the way back then. For a period of time, he'd sort of lost the path of entrepreneurship, but he's back on in full force now with nitro pumping through his veins. Really exciting guy. He's always actually had a side hustle throughout his entire life, but he started a company called Hustle Energy, and it's something that I actually utilize on a morning basis, along with my green tea or oolong tea, if that's the case. But anyway, he wanted to make an impact through entrepreneurship. So anyway, would love to introduce you to my friend Trent Bray. And let's go ahead and bring him into the studio. So my man, Trent, what is happening right now?
How's it going, Jason? Thank you for allowing me to be the first one, for you to, not be the number one guest, but to be the one that you get all the errors out of the way first, so that, nobody's going to see this one anyway. So I'm glad you can get all those kinks out of the way and get on to the good guests. But
and I didn't tell you, I forgot to, but we're actually live streaming to 450 million people at this moment in time.
Awesome. Okay. Well, guess it's good timing for me to make a fool of myself.
Exactly. Yeah. So Trent, let's talk a little bit about, actually a lot about your business, Hustle Energy. I'd first of all like to know what exactly inspired you to start Hustle Energy.
Yeah, so it kind of started from a personal experience where I was, I had a 9-to-5 job. I've got a family, I've got community obligations, all these things, and I still had a side hustle going on. And at the end of the day, I still wanted to work on that, but I didn't have the energy and the focus. And so if I took like something with caffeine in it, then I'd be up all night. So it started with this idea of, hey, I want to be able to do this side hustle without being up all night. And the idea was born about 7 years ago. And then 3 years ago, I started working on basically full time. And then from there on out, it was, a process of trying to develop this product and create a brand around it as well. And it took some time, but you know what? We're finally here. Lots of trials throughout production, creating my first product. But you know what? We did it. We're here, and it's just the beginning.
Absolutely. And it's been really exciting following you on Instagram, seeing your story and seeing how many orders you're getting and people being able to try it out. Tell me a little bit more about the taste of the product, because it's sort of tough to get like your exact taste, but it's really good. I really love the taste of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a sweet flavor. It's the name of the flavor is called Tropical Task, but it has tropical flavors in it. But everybody seems to pick out something different. Some people pick out kiwi strawberry. Some people pick out orange. Some people pick out all sorts of different tropical flavors in there, and it is kind of hard to pinpoint that exact flavor, but that's actually what I wanted. I want something that was sweet that you couldn't quite put your finger on, and you know what? I enjoy it. I mean, obviously I'm biased here, but I drink it every morning and I enjoy it, and I hear that feedback from a lot of people.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit more specifically about the business, maybe sort of how the business runs, how people can order, like what just a little bit more of the details around that.
Yeah, so it comes in a container. It's a powdered drink mix. You mix it with water, but some people, look at the bottle and say, "Hey, that must be a pre-workout," and it really isn't. It's more of a pre-work type product. So something you take to get ready to hustle. But I sell it direct to consumer on my website. I don't plan to go the retail distribution model. I want to be able to control the experience for the customer. So that includes, branding on the box. And, I had to create this experience where, I have the Hustle branded tape and a white box, and, I try and go above and beyond and surprise and delight the customers, where if they, order one of these bottles, they might get some extra things thrown in there. And I also include a handwritten note with every single order as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to control this experience to really build the brand and understand that I really do care about, creating that impact through entrepreneurship. And this is just one of the ways that I can do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember getting that handwritten note from you. That was really special. And it really, what it feels like to me is that you're not just out there building another product, you're building a community within that product.
Yes, that's definitely the intention, because you know what, it's not just a product. I mean, anybody can create a product, but I want to create more of a like I said, an impact and a movement through entrepreneurship, because I've seen personally the way that entrepreneurship can impact people directly. In a typical 9-to-5 job, it's kind of difficult to do that, where you're just basically helping the next person above you. Whereas through entrepreneurship, you see that impact happening directly to the person in front of you, and that's very fulfilling. And you can, I just want to help inspire those people to go do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? I mean, this is a little bit outside of the questions, but why do you think you have such a passion for entrepreneurship?
So I grew up with parents that were both entrepreneurs, but they had their struggles like anybody through entrepreneurship. But I really saw my mom hit her stride when she created a company that had no intention of making money. It was all about a purpose. So at the time, my grandpa, her father, was suffering with Parkinson's disease.
Mm-hmm.
And she created a compounding pharmacy with no background in it at all, no idea what to do with it. She wasn't a pharmacist or anything like that, but her mission was to cure Parkinson's disease. That's what she was doing to try and help her dad. And
wow,
that ended up being her most successful company. She ended up exiting it, and unfortunately, she didn't create a cure in that time. But that was where she was the most successful, because she had the passion. And that comes through to customers and, clients and things like that. They can see that passion. And I saw the impact that she was making. And I realized that, I wasn't going to get that same feeling in a 9-to-5 job environment. Some people aren't cut out for entrepreneurship, and that's fine.
Sure.
But that's something that I saw that I could create a difference in, and that's something I've just become super passionate about.
That is awesome. I love that. Can you tell us a little bit more about the geographic locations that your company covers?
Yeah, so I am based here in Utah, like yourself, but I ship nationwide. I can ship to Canada. Outside of that, I haven't explored elsewhere, but it's something that I'm prepared to ship anywhere in the U.S. or Canada, and you know what, we'll expand from there.
Nice. All right, great. So yeah, you heard that from coast to coast, New York to California. You can order it online and into Canada, of course. That's great. Tell us what your perfect client looks like. So if someone were to refer you or your product, who does that person look like specifically?
Yeah, so I liken it to somebody that was basically in that same situation I was in, stuck in a 9-to-5 job, want to get out, want to create that impact, don't have the energy and focus that they need, or a young entrepreneur that just went out on their own and needs that little extra kick to get going and, create that difference.
All right, cool. Is this also something that your CPAs and your attorneys and your realtors, and I mean it's sort of like a product for everybody. Am I understanding that correctly?
It is, and honestly, the thing that's been most surprising in developing this product is the people it resonates with. Obviously, it resonates with the target audience that I'm going after, but I've had quite a few parents. People who are dealing with their kids being home from school, and they have more on their plates now than they did before, and they've really taken to the product and really liked it for that. So that's been a fringe benefit, but it does still help those that are just trying to excel, and that can be a CPA within a firm, somebody who's trying to make partner, whatever the case may be. It can work for that as well, obviously.
Awesome. So the one thing that I did forget is to have a canister of it here as a prop. Do you have one with you?
Of course, always do.
I was going to say. All right, that's awesome. So I love the black canister. It's got the red label on there. So that's great. Can you open it up? Is that one open so we can see what the powder looks like?
Yeah, this is my personal one I keep on my desk there. But
awesome.
Yeah,
and it's got a little bit of a pinkish hue to it. So yeah, just to get a granular understanding of what that looks like. How do clients get a hold of you? I know you're all over social media. You really rock it. How can people both follow you, and how exactly can they order it? What are all the ways?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm very active on social media, primarily Instagram at hustle.energy. And then the website is hustle.energy, or hustletheday.com, which is the name of my podcast, Hustle the Day. And so that's the best way to get to the product. But like I said, I'm Hustle Energy pretty much anywhere on social media. You can contact me there directly, or hustletheday@gmail.com is my email address.
That's right. You've got a podcast, and it's a very successful podcast. How many episodes do you have out right now?
I have, I think, published 54 and probably another 20 recorded. But I've been trying to narrow that down and get through them a little bit quicker, and not have quite as big of a backlog.
Awesome. And where are the best ways to find your podcast? So if someone wants to find you there too.
Yeah, it's anywhere you can find podcasts, including YouTube. Hustle the Day is where you'd search. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places you can find a podcast. it will be there.
All right. Awesome. I love it. So as we move to a wrap up, tell us what one of your either favorite quotes or favorite songs or both.
It's a good question. So I'm not one who really studies the Stoic, nature and ideas, but there is a quote by Marcus Aurelius that I really do like. And it's something that I try to live by, and that's be tolerant with others, but strict with yourself. And that's something that I feel like we all need. We need to be tolerant of others' opinions, whether they agree with us or not. But then also we need to be, strict with ourselves and put our best face forward, and try and be the best that we can be.
I love it. That is awesome. And then what about songs?
So that goes back to my high school days. It's a song, kind of an obscure song, but it has a cult following. It's called Constantine by Something Corporate. It's like a 9-minute love ballad, basically. But I love the piano in it, and I love the love songs that dip down and build up, and it does it multiple times throughout it.
Oh, that's really cool. I definitely, we talked a little bit about that yesterday. And by the way, thank you for that conversation yesterday. I had a ton of fun. We spent a good hour yesterday just talking about business and the world in general and so forth. Yeah. So good stuff. This has definitely been a really good time, Trent. I sincerely appreciate coming onto the show, especially Always the Journey installment number 1 for the interview side of things. And definitely go and check out the product. Like I said, if you're in need of any kind of energy that is caffeine free, it's a nice, sweet product. We're going to go ahead and get this, as Dave Chappelle said, we're going to wrap this gavel up. So Trent, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I'm going to go ahead Jason. And hang tight for just a few after, and I'm going to go ahead and minimize you at this point. So anyway. Hey, thank you very much. The podcast is sponsored by my company, Woodland Advisors, LLC. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.